If you think successful trading is all about finding some secret strategy or predicting the market's next move, you might be in for a surprise. The real secret isn't out there on the charts, it's actually inside your head. So today, we're going to unpack the 7 mental rules that truly separate the pros from, well, everyone else.
But first, we really have to understand the core problem. This is the reason why, despite countless books and strategies, so many people just seem to struggle in the markets.
It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? People will spend years, literally years, searching for the perfect indicator or that holy grail setup. But the whole time, they're looking in a completely wrong place. And here it is, the fundamental truth. Most traders don't fail because their strategy's wrong. They fail emotionally. Their own mind ends up sabotaging their best-laid plans. It really just proves that trading is a game of psychological discipline first and strategy comes second. And this right here reveals a massive disconnect. You see, most traders, they pour like 90% of their effort into the things you see on the left. The technical skills, the endless hunt for a perfect strategy. But what actually drives lasting success? It's everything over there on the right. Emotional control and just pure mental resilience. So the key takeaway is this. Success comes from mastering the internal game. Now, let's get into the actual blueprint for how you can start building that mastery for yourself. So how do you master that internal game? Well, it starts way before you even think about placing a trade. It's all about the essential preparation you do before you even click the mouse. It's about building your mental armor. These first 3 rules, they're like a single powerful pre-trade routine. Think of it as a pre-flight checklist for your mind. You just don't proceed until you've checked all 3 of these boxes. First up, know your edge. This means you have to have a clear statistical advantage. You need to be able to answer the question, why should this trade work over a whole series of trades? Okay, second, define your risk. You have to pre-commit to your maximum acceptable loss before you ever enter the trade. And third, and this is the hardest part for most people, accept the risk. You have to be genuinely, truly at peace with the potential loss before you execute. This one act alone frees your mind from so much anxiety. Okay, so your armor is on. Now you're in a live trade. The pressure is on, emotions are starting to run high. This next set of rules is all about governing your behavior right in the heat of the moment. Now here, we're facing a really delicate balance. You have to be decisive enough to act on your plan without any hesitation, but you also have to be flexible enough to adapt as the market gives you new information. It's kind of like a mental tightrope walk.
Mastering this balance it's critical. Hesitation, what some people call analysis paralysis, it absolutely kills good trades. But at the same time, being too rigid with your profit goals, that just leads to disappointment and emotional decisions. So these rules help you stay both disciplined and dynamic.
All right, now let's zoom out. Trading isn't about just one trade. It's a career, right? It's a marathon. These final rules are all about building the mindset you need for long-term sustainable success. Rule number 6 is about developing what is basically a superpower, metacognition. It's simply the act of watching your own mind at work. By learning to observe your thoughts, asking yourself, am I feeling greedy right now? Am I feeling fearful? You can actually prevent those emotions from controlling your decisions. You'll literally become your own trading coach. And finally, we arrive at the 7th and, maybe the most powerful rule of them all. Detach from outcomes. Your job isn't to make money on this one trade. Your job is to follow your process perfectly, no matter what the result is. Now, this whole idea of detaching from outcomes, it's the final piece of a much bigger mental shift that really underpins everything we've talked about. It's about completely rewiring how you view the world, how you view certainty and probability. This is the core shift. A weak mindset demands certainty. It thinks this trade will be a winner, and then it gets emotionally crushed by every single loss. But a strong mindset, it thinks in probabilities. It knows a trade has a positive expectancy over time, and it accepts that randomness and losses are just a necessary cost of doing business. So we've covered the 7 rules, we've covered the core mindset, but how do you actually put this all into practice? Let's turn this theory into your new actionable trading blueprint. See, the goal isn't just to remember these rules, it's to internalize them until they become automatic. Discipline shouldn't feel like a chore. It should become your default mindset, the way you just naturally operate. Here are some really concrete steps to make this happen. First, start a journal. And don't just track your trades, track your emotions during those trades. Then start to map your patterns. When do you get greedy? When do you get scared? And above all, you've got to shift your focus away from the daily profit and loss and onto the quality of your execution. Did you follow your process? That's the only question that matters.
And this right here, this is the transformation that we're aiming for. You stop chasing the highs of a single win, and instead you become a master of your process, knowing that if you just execute flawlessly, the results, well, they'll take care of themselves over time.
So I'll just leave you with this question. And honestly, whether you're a trader or not, these principles apply to pretty much everything. In your career, in your personal goals, what is the internal game, that psychological battle that you need to master?